Hey students, here's a video about creating using a bitext corpus to create a translation memory that you can then put into a translation tool, like a computer assisted translation tool. So let me share my screen here. So this one is called LF Aligner. I've used it successfully to align Spanish and English. I've tried other things like Danish and English and probably Portuguese, but it has support for quite a few languages, up to 100 languages. That's what they have. There is a GUI, but I'm just going to show you how to do it with the command line. Well, I'm just going to demo. I'm not going to try and teach you how to do it, but just so you can see what it can do. So when you download it and you unzip it, it creates this little directory, and the script I'm going to use is this one here. It's a Perl script, just a programming language. But let's get some source text. So here is, for example, President Nelson's talk from April 2022, his first talk of that conference, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. Here it is. We have the sacred responsibility to share the power and peace of Jesus Christ with all who will listen. And if I were to get the Spanish, if I come up here to the URL and just change ENG to SPA up there, then I should get the Spanish one. Yep, predicar el evangelio de paz. Tenemos la sagrada responsabilidad de compartir el poder y la paz de Jesucristo con todos los que escuchen. Right? So there it is. So I've already scraped those out as TXT files. Let me show you what those look like just real quick. So here is the English version of that talk, just in a TXT file, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, or the gospel of peace. There it is, all the way down. And I have the Spanish one already scraped out into a TXT file as well, right in there. Okay, predicar el evangelio de paz. So I have those sitting on my hard drive, and in order to use this aligner, specifically this Perl script here, it has some documentation on the in the aligner. Let me read that real quick. I just wanted to display it here. If I do batch, there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a command line call with this. Here's a sample command line thing that will help me. So I bring up the command line interface here. I'm in the directory that I already had. I'm in the directory with the script itself, this script right here that I need to use. So I'm going to type this. You know what? I'm not going to try and teach you how to do command line stuff, but just so you can see what a bitext aligner does for fun here. The file type is text. The in files, I did this earlier, so I'm just going to go ahead and push the up arrow right there. So let me just read I'm using my mouse to kind of show what these are doing. So this is saying that I'm using a text file. This is saying these are the input files. The en.txt is the English one, and the es.txt is the Spanish one. And I specify the languages en and es for English and Spanish. And then I say that, then I let it go. And it's saying, do you wish to skip the review? I say, yeah, just go for it. I don't want to review it. Create a TMX translation memory XML file. Yeah. Default English, default Spanish. Yeah, looks good. Do that. And type the name of the creator. I guess I can do so if I want. Earl Brown. And good. The aligner has terminated successfully. Cool. So if I go into here, maybe here. Yeah, so this new directory right here is created by the script, and it put in several things here. We can just look at this. You can see that it in this version it puts each sentence in Spanish and English on the same line, separated by a tab like that. This is meant to be read by a human, I guess. But this is the one that is a XML file. It's a certain form of formatting data that's meant to be read by a human. And you can see here that it has preaching the gospel of Jesus, the gospel of peace, and predicar el evangelio de paz. there by President Russell M. Nelson, por el presidente Russell M. Nelson, etc. We have the sacred responsibility to share the power. Tenemos la sagrada responsabilidad de compartir el poder. There you go. So it's done it down to the sentence level. And this right here, like I said, is an XML file. It's meant to be read by computers. And this is a translation memory, actually. It's really a translation memory XML file. So that's how you do what I mentioned in class. You can do take two corpora and align them down to the sentence level with a piece of software like this. And this can be put into a translation assisted tool, a computer assisted translation tool. Like if I go to freemt.com, which is a online translation memory tool. Let me try it right now. Oh, I forgot to do that. So this is a translation memory tool. And if I were to say, hey, let me show you a sample document I just created a second ago. Downloads, test.docx. This is a simple little document I created. Preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. I look forward to this day with anticipation. I love all you so much. Here's a picture of me in London. While in London this past summer, I had the opportunity to represent BYU. And by very close connection, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It was wonderful. Here I have some other little image, and here I have italicized in a different font. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up into that translation tool with this, choose file, go to my downloads, text, docx, upload and open. And I need to, before I actually start working on this document, I need to get my translation memory set. I want to pull in that translation memory I just created. Let me upload this, assign name. I'll call it ENES. I'll call it Nelson because I just used that one talk. That doesn't let me out do more than that. Oh, it doesn't want anything besides ASCII. So I come here and I find that translation memory I created a second ago with the software TMX is the extension there. Good, do that. And it's uploading it, looks like. Okay. It found 36 translation units. That is like segments, like sentences. So that's good. That's terrific. And now I want to go in here. I want to choose that translation memory. How do I choose that? Let me pause the video for 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, so I've changed the translation memory to the one I created with that software, the LF aligner. So it says ENES NELS right there. So when I get into a translation or a sentence here and I want to translate it, in this case, it went out to the internet and did a machine translation with my memory and also world lingo. I'm wanting it to actually oh, there we go. Right there. In this case, the second line, it actually grabbed it from my translation memory that I created with those two talks in Spanish and English there. And if I remember correctly how to do all this, let me just go back up to this point. Save that one. I love you all so much. Los quiero tanto a todos. While in London this past summer, I had the opportunity to represent BYU and by very close connection, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Mientras estuve en Londres, I would say estaba personally. Estaba en Londres el verano pasado, tuve la oportunidad de representar a BYU y por conexión muy cercana, la Iglesia de Jesucristo. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Next one. It was wonderful. I would say fue personally on this one. Fue maravilloso. Atentamente, I guess that'll work. Earl Brown, Spanish Fork, Utah. Okay, it didn't. Yeah, that's just a city, so we'll just say Spanish Fork, Utah. So anyway, the point is that this little free at tm.com, it uses machine translation, but it first tries to use your translation memory that you specify. If it can't find anything that's really close, it'll go out to the internet and use a machine translation, a couple of machine translation sites. So that is close. That is 2 steps there I showed you. How to bitext align 2 different texts, different languages down to the sentence level. And then just as a kind of a bonus, I showed you how to use that translation memory here in a translation tool. Let's close that. I just simply want to go back to maybe here. I want to download my align text. Let me pause it again. I want to show you the final product here. Sorry, it's been a while since I used this. But if you download this, the translated document, let me do that. Download the file, yeah. Save it to the downloads, that'll be totally fine. And then if we open it up, it now has a translation into Spanish. But the cool thing is that it preserves all the formatting, and these images are still there in this formatting that I had, different font there and italicization. So anyway, there's a quick demo of, once again, 2 things. Taking 2 different documents or sets of documents. You can have a bunch of English documents and a bunch of corresponding Spanish documents, and align those and create one big translation memory that you can then, as my step 2, put into a translation tool like that website I showed you, or SDL Trados, if you know what that software is, and do translation and then export it out as a translated document. And again, it's kind of cool. It preserves all this stuff here for you, all the fonts and the pictures and headings and stuff. So that is a quick little demo of bitext aligning.